Hey everybody, how you guys doing? Just jumping on to do our very first big interview with two friends from Utah. Very excited. Two ladies who work at Coldwell out there who know a bunch, but are also some of the fun and most engaging women you'll know. So without further ado, we have Reggan Jastrom and Meriann Boxall. And I am very excited to talk with these ladies because they are, like I said, absolutely fun. We're doing a little special today. We're actually going to be doing mimosas today, champagne, juices, everything else like that, as well as talking about market and different things that's going on within our market. So without further ado, how are you ladies doing? What's going on? What's new? What's happening? How are the kids? How's family?
We are doing great. We are doing so good. We finally got some snow. So this
Amen.
finally settled for the skiers. I mean, for me, we're not incredibly thrilled by it, but the skiers are.
Yeah. So for those of you that don't know, we're actually right outside of Park City, which is kind of a huge deal to not get any snow here. It's been a rough year.
Yeah. So with that and all the other stuff that's in the news with Park City, what's been going on lately? Like, how's that been affecting sales? Has that been affecting sales much? Has it been affecting any of the tourism and things of that nature, or what's been going on?
I mean, I'd say historically, this is kind of what we call our mud season. So even though we get a lot of traffic through Park City this time of year, it's not necessarily our biggest sales season. I think it's really more of like the discovery period for people. Like they come here and realize that they like Park City or the area and decide that they want to come here. But I think that has affected the snow. There was obviously a strike with the ski patrol in Deer Valley and all of, or I mean, not Deer Valley, but Vail resorts. And that caused a huge ruffle because it really disrupted the skiing over there at Park City for 2 weeks. It's like 14 days.
Yeah, right during the holiday season. So all of our traffic that we usually have coming out for the holidays weren't able to ski, or they got like 2 runs because only 20% of the mountain was open. So I mean, obviously there's a worry that people are now not going to like Park City for a minute.
There was a huge distaste.
Yeah. But we have some great things coming. We have Deer Valley expansion.
So cool.
We've got some new things.
That's already started to take place, right? Because they're building, a new Park Hyatt there or Four Seasons or something?
The Grand Hyatt is open.
Yep.
Okay.
And the Four Seasons is being built.
Got it. Okay. Yeah, because I have some friends that are here at the Four Seasons, and they're like, oh my God, this would be great for addition of our other 2 Four Seasons. I'm like, yes, it will. And let me tell you some people that might be able to help you out.
Yes,
right.
Yeah, we're really excited. That whole expansion on that side of the mountain. So it essentially really connects our county with Park City, which is a different county. It kind of just makes it all one big thing. And I think Deer Valley taking over the management of that resort is going to be so fantastic.
So Deer Valley and Park City are what, half an hour away?
The top of Deer
Valley connects on both sides. So you can actually get into Deer Valley from Park City. So it kind of goes up and over the mountain. So Deer Valley kind of goes over the mountain into Wasatch County. We're so close. It's kind of like you get right outside of Park City and you're into Wasatch County without even knowing it.
Got you. Okay. So it's kind of like driving from the airport where you're like, okay, I have only like 45 minutes. It seems like 20 minutes half the time.
Yeah. Right. And part of the appeal to this is you can leave the airport, which is an...
Cheers.
Sorry, I'm like, I've got to have a drink now.
Part of the appeal to this was you can leave the airport and within 40 minutes be at this new resort and not hit a stoplight. There's no stoplights.
Yeah.
So it's kind of untypical for how you would get to a ski resort.
Especially here in Colorado. I mean, you hit one stoplight just leaving your neighborhood. So, makes it a bit easier going from there.
Right. Well, even in the mornings, the ski traffic going into Park City off the there's 2 ways to get into Park City. It is backed up for miles and miles. So I think this is going to alleviate a lot of that stress and, travel, the woes that come with the travel that it is now, because sometimes it's 40 minutes to even just get into Park City town, like the actual town.
See, in Colorado, we're like 40 minutes. All right, whatever. That's easy because it takes about an hour and a half just to get to Winter Park. But our closest one, let's say Eldora closest, that's still about 50 minutes to get there. So it's 45 minutes, we're happy with that. And that's 50 minutes any time of the day. I mean,
this is all Utah's master plan to take out Colorado. That's just what we're doing.
You will be joining us soon enough.
It's like I still have to get up to Ogden. Next time I'm back, I'm going to go up to Ogden.
Yeah.
Be up there. So
Nick came last winter, spent some time with us, skied, did all the things here, which was very fun to have him.
what is that bar in Park City that we met at?
The No Name Saloon.
The No Name Saloon. Oh my! It's such a great place.
That's one of the. That's where it's really one of the best. And right now, actually, it is Sundance, the Sundance Film Festival this week. So
it's this week. Oh, okay.
This week, it's happening right now.
It's always the last week of January.
It varies.
The last two weekends, kind of. So it started Thursday last week was the first day.
Got it. Okay.
And it's busy. People are here.
J-Lo was
Yep.
big on the town last night.
Oh yeah, strutting her stuff. Was she Jenny from the Block this week?
They've got a film.
Yeah, she's got a film release.
Oh really? Which one? I have not been keeping up with movies, so
I just saw like a headline that J-Lo had made her way to Main Street.
Yeah.
So and it's kind of a weird year. Maybe you can speak to this a little more. They've shut down all of Main Street, which they've never done, like for auto traffic.
Yeah,
really thrown a kink into
for Sundance. Wow. Yeah, because
so there's no
talking about it. So they actually shut down like most traffic, basically. So how do you get in and out? You just have to do all the side streets.
Yeah, so there's lots of alleyways and the side streets in Park City, the one-way like access points. So they just are all parking out and just allowing that to be more walkable area.
They've got also the high schools not very far from Main Street, so they are running a bus to like a park and ride lot type of situation.
As well as the ski resorts. Now is actually a great time to come out and ski. Side note, because everybody is at Sundance. So the ski resorts are like super quiet.
The mountains are,
if you can get to them, because they use them for parking.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay. So contact friends who have helicopters to fly me in instead.
Right. You got it.
Got it. Perfect way to get in there. So then how far is Heber? Or Heber City? Is that what, 20 minutes, 30 minutes from Park City?
Yeah.
So people even parking out there and doing that kind of a trip or with buses, or is that just too far out?
No, we have a transit system so there are a lot of people who are staying and parking here in Heber, and then they take the transit no cost transit into town.
So it's not a light rail or anything like that. It's like a bus system.
It's a bus. Yeah.
Yeah. And then there's actually cars, almost like an Uber system.
Ah, okay. Is it like a newer one, or is it pretty much Uber, but...
No, it's called
High Valley Transit. It's a private system. We actually got a grant for it a couple of years ago. Are we in our second year of having that? So it's actually free. It's all free. Like around town is free, and it goes between Heber and Park City as well. And it's literally, there's buses, and then there are private vans. Like there's an app you can get on and schedule a pickup. And there are some buses that go from our grocery store, from the Smith's parking lot, that go into Park City on like a regular scheduled basis.
Got you. Okay.
We'll be dropping off kids in the morning, and the High Valley Transit will pull up behind us and drop out.
Like
because they don't want to ride the bus, so they ride the High Valley Transit.
I'm not quite to the point where I'm letting my kids do that. I just it makes me nervous to send them with people we don't know. But I mean, I see the appeal. Like,
well, did you see the all women ride share that's starting?
No, I'm intrigued.
Like women only. So if you're with the guy, you can't get in.
Oh, for safety. I get it. I've had some sketchy Uber rides. I've also had some really... What was that?
I was going to just ask if you've had sketchy rides.
Yeah, and I've traveled by myself quite a bit. Right?
Fair. Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, we also had a sketchy ride to the airport in Atlanta with Bo. Bo took us a back way alley to get to the airport in Atlanta. So, I mean,
sorry that I was leaving late. Sorry about that.
It's like, I got you guys, and then we were like, where are we?
Hey, we made it. We made it safely. He actually did get us there.
He did get us there. No, I've had a couple, and like,
I have not gotten in a few times when they've shown up.
Like, no, or the ones where you're just like a little, like, you could see how easily bad things could happen, but you have to put your trust in the system because you need the ride. You know what I mean? And I would say most times I've had great experiences, but there's a couple that you never know.
Like anytime we go with Bo, I get it. Although
He's
we're
one of our sketches.
about somebody
He's one of
nice.
our.
It's okay.
You just
Yeah.
buckle up. You
Just buckle up.
Let's go.
Put our faith in bow and go.
So talking about the market, like what's your market going on right now? Like what's happening and what are you guys seeing over there? I mean, for us, I know that it's still a little bit of a roller coaster, but we started really seeing this bigger push of buyers finally coming back into the market. Are you guys seeing some of that, or what's it like over there?
It's been pretty slow here.
Really slow.
The days on market have greatly increased on the listings that are there. We are seeing a few. I think I've had a few more buyers call that say they're about ready to start looking. So maybe that is happening. We do know that like our prices are still going up surprisingly, even though it's a slow market. And we did get the Olympics for 2034, so we have a trajectory that we expect that it's going to continue to go up in price. But things are kind of sitting. They're still sitting a little bit.
We're a little slower than we are, we have seen a little bit of, pricing changes and interest rates in the last week, which I think is going to be super helpful. And I really think, after the inauguration, we also saw some people come out of the woodwork that, people are expecting massive changes in the economy, whether that, you know what I mean? But for those that have that hope, I think we will see some more buyers there.
Yeah. And go ahead.
Yeah, sorry. For like, if you have cash buyers, people who are wanting to park some money, there is a really great area here just outside of Park City. It's considered in Wasatch County, but it's maybe 3 minutes from where that new Park City ends. There's the new resort there. There's all of the things. There's this great area that would be a great place for some cash buyers to be able to put some money. If they're looking at it for like short-term investments, it's probably not the best place. There's not a lot of the short-term nightly rentals are probably not quite cash flowing there, but we are seeing such an increase. The price per square foot is great, and it would be a great place to park some money for a few years.
And the long term. And then think about it. Like I said, we have the Olympics coming in 10 years. Like there is going to be a need for housing during that 3-week-ish period. And those rentals will go through the roof.
Yeah. And they could buy like 2 townhomes or 3 condos for the price of a single family within Park City. And I think in the long run, they're going to be glad that they're out and closer to that other resort.
Yeah.
So is this place, is it land or is it already or is it kind of both? We have land and you also have homes that they're building that you can buy, or is it just going to be more of a PUD, like a planned unit area?
Yeah, so they're all approved subdivisions right now. So there's not any to find just raw land with really outside of a subdivision would be a big challenge in that area. But it's right off Jordanelle. It's right off Park City. It's right to the Mayflower, the Grand Hyatt,
off the highway.
It's conveniently located. They've got some great resorts there. Yeah. I mean, it's the spot.
Yeah, and they're putting in new like the Grand Hyatt, the dining that came in with the Grand Hyatt. We've got Black Rock Resort that's got some great food options. Like we're getting amenities out there, which has kind of been the challenge in the last handful of years as they started building it up, but there were no amenities to support that. And those are coming. Yep. Which I think is going to make it a fantastic area.
There's about 10,000 approved units
going
in there. Within by the time the Olympics, it's huge. It's going to double the size by the time we're done of our community.
And much of them have been approved for 10 to 20 years. It's been a very long-term goal of these developers, but it is definitely, and it's expanding. Essentially, our town of Heber and Park City are going to be connected.
Yeah, it's already not that much difference. Like you go in and you're on like the northern side of Park City and you're like, whoa, like I'm like right here already, and like all these shops are here, and like all these different grocery stores and everything else. Like you're like right there.
And then the other cool thing we have right there is we've got the new Tiger Woods golf course coming in.
And the other one was it Skymount?
Skyridge.
So we've got 2 new golf courses coming in, but Tiger's got one.
Yeah, and it's got views that are phenomenal.
So is that going to be a kind of like a private course, I presume, since it is Tiger?
Yeah.
Okay. Private.
We're already working on figuring out how we get our invites because we are definitely not on the list.
Hey Tiger. Hey Tiger.
We got some friends that we're hoping will take us along.
I mean, I'm assuming that'll be something like $500 for initiation fee, just because it is Tiger. It is that kind of a private type of a place, and elevation and things like that, and how close you will be. I'm just assuming.
I would think so, because the other thing that we have in this area is we do have a lot of golf communities, very high-end golf communities around. We've got Red Ledges, we've got Promontory that are Tuahay that are, and they all have very high membership fees, and they're all, so I would expect nothing less.
Oh, really? So if you're talking about land, or let's talk about Park City for a second. So you have the canyons, but within the canyons, there's 2 or 3 different sections. Is that right? Of like price points, or is the canyons just kind of all encompassing of like just this whole area, part of Park City and part of the actual slopes itself?
Well, there's a lot of like all the resorts have housing to purchase, and many of them, I mean, you range anywhere from condos or studios, or even there's fractional ownership all the way up to very large homes.
Yeah.
So you really can get anything you want on any of the resorts. I would say Deer Valley is probably the highest end where you kind of have, like I said, you can get fractional ownership for a couple weeks a year, all the way up to, multi-million dollar homes. The homes on Main Street in Park City that are all typically very small lots, just because it's downtown.
Yeah.
Millions. I mean,
so would you say that Deer Valley goes anywhere from, let's say, 1,000 square foot to 5,000+ square foot, depending if you're doing like a single family or if you're doing like a condo or something of that nature?
Yeah, there's been some very high-end homes up in Deer Valley that have sold.
Well, because there's that really private section that like Steven Spielberg and some of people of that account, they have like their own little section. Is that like in Deer Valley then? Or do you know what I'm talking about? Like it's like uber wealthy. It's only like 30 or 40 homes
like
in there.
Us.
Yeah.
Uber wealthy like us.
Yes, and not all of those surprisingly are ski in, ski out.
Right.
Like it's wild that they're kind of off a little bit, but yeah, absolutely. There's some very, very high end homes there.
And so is the canyons, is that Park City side? Or is that Deer Valley?
Yep, not Deer Valley. So the canyons and Park City Mountain Resort are now part of the Epic Pass. They're owned by Vail. They have connected, so they're still the biggest, most acreage ski resort in the Western United States. So they have the 2 locations, the 2 entrances, but you can connect if you're a skier. You can.
You gotta be a
kind
not
of
us.
Yeah,
you would never. The bunny hills don't connect.
Yeah, so you can connect the 2, and the passes go for both of them. So there's the canyons that's in one section, kind of closer to Snyderville Basin and the Kimball Junction area, and then the Park City Mountain Resort that's right in Park City. And then if you continue up, then you have Deer Valley. And so Deer Valley is kind of the very top, and then goes over.
So what are locals saying then? Or what have you guys heard from locals like yourselves, but more people in the community outside of real estate? What have you heard about anything of their temperament in regards to the Olympics coming and and the issues that we're having with Vail resorts and all these other things that you see and hear about, but it doesn't really get kind of publicized or known? Like, what did they feel about a lot of this?
I think Utah was really behind going for the Olympics again. What I don't think most people understand is the infrastructure from the first Olympics is still here and still used on a daily basis. Like they ski train at, where they built all the stuff. Yeah. The Olympic torch is still downtown at Rice Eccles Stadium. All of these things are still in place. They're obviously going to need to be updated, but the economic effects that the last Olympics had on Utah was phenomenal. So I think it's a benefit. I mean, and there are statistics of home ownership and selling and things like that for Olympic cities. So I think it's a really positive thing. It, for those few weeks, it definitely can displace people and be very inconvenient. And I didn't live up here then. I lived downtown in Salt Lake, and it was inconvenient. Even my job that I worked at the time, we had to change our hours because we were actually in Olympic Square. So, but I think that the benefits that are going to come from it are outweigh anything else.
And that's just yearly too. Like you just see that for like a decade or so.
Yeah, it brings a whole spotlight to a place that people have never been.
Yeah, fair.
And then the other part of your question, you were asking about like the people's feelings about the things that happened with Vail. The Epic Pass is for ski resorts affordable. I mean, it's not for all families affordable, but it's such an affordable pass that we have so many people that are using it. Deer Valley is much higher end experience than Vail is, and they're designed that way. They don't allow snowboarders still. Sorry, Nick. But they don't allow it. I know. So, and they say they have no plans to allow it, but their cost to ride there, to ski there is much higher. So their passes are much higher. But people are saying that they're going to save to be able to do that next year because they're just so disappointed with the waits. Like, to get on PCMR, it's a 2-hour wait, and that was when they had all of their staff just to even get on the lift to go up to start. So there's just been some issues with the overcrowding and the number of passes that have been sold. So locals, I'm hearing, are disappointed. They're disappointed.
Yeah.
So you think you're going to shift, like you said, to like a Deer Valley or Ulta and Brighton? You think those places are going to start getting busier, and then they're going to start raising their prices then too?
That would be the expectation.
It was a really bad experience. There was a lot of negativity in that couple of weeks, and then the people that like literally paid significant amounts to bring their families here to vacation during that time to not be able to ski or to get in 2 runs in an 8-hour period because there wasn't anything. They're not coming back.
No.
Yeah,
I heard there really hasn't been much compensation from what I've only.
I mean, they got a discounted pass to come back in the future.
Yeah.
Yeah, they haven't. I feel like they handled it poorly for a big corporation that has money.
Right. I totally agree.
They didn't handle it well.
Here was the same thing. Like everyone's like, really? Like this just shows why we don't go to Vail Resorts. You know, this is why we don't go over to these places. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, I can't disagree. I mean, they, like you said, they handled it really poorly. And so that's where I was just like, all right, how is that sentiment with the locals? Because it has to be horrible. I mean, you know.
The hard part is that it's kind of the only affordable option for some of these families. Yeah. Like if you're just a family with 3 or 4 kids and you're like, I want to ski.
You can't afford Deer Valley.
You can't. Like it's just, that's the option.
Right. That's the reality. So that's unfortunate, but you know, to the point, Deer Valley strives to give a different experience. Mm-hmm. They really do. And they do a good job at it.
Yeah, true. All right. I'm going to switch topics going back to heavy real estate side. So in terms of that, what do you guys do for marketing? Like, how do you guys market yourselves? Because that's kind of the name of our game for us as agents of how we get clients is how good of marketing we do and what marketing we do that's impactful. What do you guys, what have you been seeing and what do you do that kind of allows those new clients to find you guys?
I think the biggest thing that Reggan and I do and have done for years that have made us successful is we are very involved in our community. If there's something going on in our community, we know about it and we're probably there.
Yeah.
And we're helping to promote it and support it. And
we support local businesses. We support all the charity events that we possibly can in the community. And I think that has been the biggest thing that we have done is just we are a part of the community.
It's that whole people do business with people they know, like, and trust. Everybody knows us. People trust us because we've built up that credibility just by showing up and being there. And
most people have acquired to like us. Right? It's required taste.
You liked us right away, so that's. I mean,
says a little bit about you.
Yeah. But I think, you know, we were actually talking with one of our agents about this recently. We have always been very unapologetically and authentically ourselves. Right. And she actually brought up that, like, in the very beginning when we kind of jumped into real estate up here in Heber, we were unapologetically drinking our wine on our social media. We didn't care. And you do find your people. There are plenty of people that don't care that we do that. You know, I think we're ourselves.
Cheers. Yep. Sorry.
You know the rules.
I know, but I just had them.
You know the rules. Get it together.
But I think that's really honestly kind of what we biggest do, is we are who we are and we are out in the community and promoting our community members and supporting them and all the things because we know that, you know, as we live here, we want it to be a great community for our kids one day and to have everybody thrive.
And I think the other thing, and I think anybody that's ever worked with us will say this, is we expect a higher level of service than anyone. Mm-hmm. So like, it's a good experience when you work with us. We know our stuff. We know our contracts. We know all the things. The agents in the area know us and respect us. And I think that also goes a long way.
So talking about that, do you guys connect with agents within your market, whether they're within your company or outside? And with that, why? Because and the reason I ask is kind of a loaded question. We all hear how there's agents who are like, oh, I'm not going to talk to that agent, or I'm not going to connect with agents over there because they're with a different company. So why do you guys see disadvantage with doing that, whether it's in the local market or in the national, international market?
I actually have I have a ton of connections outside of Utah, but we're actually a really small area here. Like our board of realtors is about 1,200 agents versus the Salt Lake area down there that it's like 12,000. So we're a very small group. We have broker tours on Wednesdays in Park City. On Tuesdays here in Heber, we do a caravan where we all meet and go see everybody's listings. Here's the benefit to that is if I know you and you know me and I send an offer on your listing, you're probably more likely to want to work with me if you know me and trust me.
Right. Totally.
And when I first started in real estate, I mean, this was 10 years ago. I mean, I met with an agent from an entirely different brokerage just because I was like, I want to learn what you do. We've had brokers from other brokerages come into our team meetings and talk about what they're seeing and what they're feeling, because I think our goal for our clients is to sell their homes and help them find homes. And the way you best do that is by collaborating. And so if you're hearing about what they have coming, then you're prepared to be able to better represent your clients.
And if you know the agents, we often get text messages and like, hey, I've got this coming to market. If you've got anyone, like we get that from agents at other brokerages. Like Meriann said, one of our favorite people to bring in is a broker over at Berkshire. But he's just a wealth of knowledge and he is happy to sit and chat with us. And we're happy to just take in everything he has because we all have things to learn all the time.
Yeah, I can't say better for sure. I mean, and to your point, because I came just back from Live Sotheby's, which I know is out there in Utah, which I'm not sure if it's under the name Live, but it's still with the same organization. And I still have friends over there that I call and contact.
Yeah, we have.
Go ahead.
We have Sotheby's agents that call us. We've got Berkshire agents that call us. I got one from someone else the other day. Yeah, when you establish those rapports, it goes a long way. Like, I'd rather, if I'm going to sell somebody's house and I've got someone that has a buyer at another company and I know that I can plug that in before, let's do that.
Yeah.
Saves everyone the hassle.
Ugh. And wasting time. Especially like, and to your point, like, I have a plethora of realtors I know here in the city. And if I have a contract that's going out, I'm reaching out to somebody within their company that I may know and saying, hey, do you know about this agent? Do you know how they work? Is it going to be a good transaction? How responsive are they? At least so then I can get, a secondhand or someone else's opinion about maybe this contract that I'm doing. But it also, like you said, it makes things a lot more smooth. So,
right. And it's nothing better than being in a multiple offer situation and getting contracts from agents that you have worked with in the past or that and you're like, then you can sit down with your client and say, these are all great contracts. I've worked with this agent. They do a really fantastic job because we actually had a contract fail last year and it wasn't the client's fault. It was the agent's fault because she didn't know what she was doing.
Yep.
And that is so unfortunate for her clients, but the agent on the other side makes all the difference in getting the deal done smoothly.
%. So one more thing I want to talk about that has been in our radars for 8 months now, 6 months now, maybe even a year, is the commissions. What are you telling your clients in terms of sellers? Because I tell them, like, listen, I still think it's a good idea to do exactly with what we have been doing, because then at the end of the day, when you're going to buy a place and the seller is offering a buyer success fee or buyer's agent success fee or something of that nature, you guys won't necessarily have to worry about an extra fee that you're going to have to pay. But what is your guys' thought? I mean, that's just one idea that I have that I talk with clients about. But what do you guys do?
You want me to take it or you want to take it?
We're a little opposite.
Fair.
I mean, we definitely encourage them to be prepared to pay for a buyer's agent commission, so they have that in the back of their mind. But it comes over in the contract now. We don't want to offer a 3% when maybe they only have a 2% agency commission agreed to, or they're willing to take that because it's in the best interest of our seller to get them the most money for their property. And so we just encourage them to be aware that probably plan for 3%, be prepared for that. But if someone calls and says, is your seller willing to pay the buyer's agent commission, we say, send it over in an offer. Yes, they're willing to work with a buyer's agent.
And I'm telling I actually went on a listing appointment on Thursday, and I am telling my, listing appointments and clients, be prepared to pay it. We're obviously going to negotiate it. But at the end of the day, if I get a contract and we just have to counter offer back a higher price to get everybody a net that makes everybody happy, it's a win-win. Yeah. The actual number doesn't matter if your seller gets out with the net that they need to get out with, and the buyer is, good with the price that they end up paying. It's just, it's not, it's truly, it was such a big uproar. And I think it's truly ended up being, I actually like it better. And I think it's truly ended up being much easier to navigate than everybody thought.
Yeah.
And I'm not,
go ahead.
And I am telling my sellers, like, if you're absolutely not willing to pay, I don't know that I'm the listing agent for you, because I think that, we want to work together, and that's how you get houses sold. But I'm not going to make anyone agree to a certain percentage. We're just going to negotiate it to make everyone happy.
Right. Case by case deal type of a scenario. But you do prepare them. You do inform them, hey, this will more than likely come through.
Yes.
Just be prepared that we might have to negotiate this, or if you're okay with paying it, then this is going to be coming through. So, and I've started seeing it. So here in Denver, and I know where and how, but I don't necessarily want to get into the detail because it could be somewhat long, but we do 3.2 and 2.8. I think that that's absolutely ridiculous to do. Basically, the reasoning is listing agents have so much more that they're putting into it and everything else. And I'm like, well, yeah, that could be true, but buyer's agents are also driving these buyers around a bunch too. So let's just kind of make this something a little bit more even. So with that, would you guys take, let's say if the negotiations came back on the buy side, you guys were working with the buyers, and the sellers came back to you and said, we're only willing to do 2.5. Would you guys say okay to that? And would you go back to your buyers and say, hey, listen, you're going to have to pay this extra 0.5%? Or would you say, 2.5, I'm okay with that. Let's just admit it.
I'm going to toss that one to you.
Because I'm a full service agent. I take care of everything, so I expect my full commission. So that would be something that I would have the conversation with the buyer to navigate where we think that is going to be, and whether that be another counter offer in order to get it. Ideally, my goal is to get what they have promised me. So whatever we have got a contract for, like, that is my goal. Now, am I going to leave someone high and dry and have them lose their house? No, but am I going to push back and do the best that I can to be able to get my money that I've worked hard for? Yeah, I am, because it's not just that one transaction. I think this is what agents sometimes forget, is that as a real estate agent, I have worked for 10 years to build a brand, to build this brand where people know, like, and trust me. And so when I'm putting forth these contracts, or when I'm on social media, all of those 10 years of experience are coming into every single contract that I do today. So it's not just the one that I'm doing today. It's years and years and years of work that have gotten to that point for me to be able to charge the full percent, the full 3% that I would charge a buyer. So,
totally makes sense.
And I'll just say this: Meriann's been working for me for 10 years, and I have overseen a lot of agents in the last 10 years being a broker. And there are a handful of very good ones at knowing and getting their value, and she is one of them.
Yeah. You both are very extremely plethora amount of knowledge, plus you guys' experience. And Coldwell wouldn't allow you to be a managing broker for as long as you were a managing broker. And you want to have your own company before joining Coldwell Banker, Reggan. If you didn't have those qualities, if you didn't have those experiences, and the same with you, Meriann. There's big differences when it comes to how you can operate under those high stress pressures, but then also how you can manage your clients in terms of, okay, this is what you need to do next. Let me handle these things, and doing it in a way that they can understand and say, all right, I'll back off. Just let me know when it's done.
Right.
So,
right. Exactly.
People think that that's easy. It's easy to be a realtor. And you and I, or you two and I, can say, yeah, no, hard on that. Like, this is not.
Well, and we laugh because people say they want to get into this because it's a flexible schedule. Yeah, we can drink mimosas at 10 o'clock on a Monday, but that doesn't mean we're not working at 10 o'clock on Tuesday night.
Right.
Like it's not, it's fluid, but it's not a flexible schedule because we also work for our clients and we have to work on their time frames very often. And open houses, those are during the weekends. And, you know, if my clients have an 8 to 5 job, we're looking at houses on nights and weekends. And not always, but, you know, there is flexibility, but it's not entirely flexible. That's what people think. And we actually work a lot of hours a week.
Yeah, I think that the main thing that to tell any agent or new agent is you get out what you put in.
Yeah.
Every single agent. Like if you want to be successful, if you want to make a lot of money, then put in a lot of hours.
Yeah. It's
until you build that business or you can just work.
And we've had this conversation with our group is that like the newer agents we find don't put in as many hours, and I put in a lot of hours, and I also have a 20-year book of business that people will call me just because they will call me, and new agents don't have that to go off of. And that's just an added bonus because I have done all the work all these years, but there are certain things I don't have to do because I do have that, but new agents don't have that. They've got to build their own credibility and trust and business. They have to build their own business.
Yeah.
So
did you guys see the latest stat from last year of how many agents didn't even sell one home?
Yeah.
71, 300,000 agents did the work last year, let's say. 300,000 out of 1.5. Like, that baffles me.
But did they do the work?
Well,
there's no way if you were putting in all that work, you didn't sell one house. That's what I say. I've seen a lot of this, and it is the agents that work hard. There's business out there.
Yeah.
The agents that work hard do get business.
Yeah.
This year has been particularly hard, obviously.
But if they were working 40 hours a week, they
was
probably
a very big fluke year. But
there's a difference between working 10 hours a week in your business and 40.
Right.
Like there really is. And you know, the cool thing about real estate is there is no ceiling to what you can make. That is directly equated to how much time and effort you put into your business.
Yeah.
There are additional ways we could be doing things. We just choose not to. But like, you know,
I am not an agent that calls on expireds. I won't do it. It just is not me.
But there are avenues to do additional things that even we aren't doing. So it's, you know, you put in what you want to do.
You get what you give.
You absolutely.
There you go.
Absolutely.
There you go.
It's one of my friends, Scott. He's actually my biggest client right now, but it's one of his favorite songs when he's on the mountain. I'm like, oh my God, I know exactly what playlist you're listening to. I know exactly what song next. Like, yes. Sorry, I do have to do that a little bit. But yes, I totally agree. It's how much you are willing to go and how far you're willing to go in this business in order to see your successes, whatever success means to you. It could be monetarily, it could be, well, a lot of it is monetary, but in terms of like, I want to hit, I want to be making $10 million before I die, or, I just want to be able to make enough money so I can go and travel and see the world more, or I just want to make money so I can go and open a philanthropic company or organization. To your point, sky really is the limit. So
yeah, it's I think you also have to be uncomfortable sometimes, do things that you wouldn't, and we do it, but it's not like door knocking or calling, but we do things that aren't necessarily comfortable for us to grow our business and change and shift and pivot and do things. And I think that's important to be able to recognize when you need to do that and do it.
Yeah, I know. Totally. Okay. One last thing before we hop off, but what's one piece of advice you have for friends, for buyers, sellers, clients, whomever it be? What's one piece of advice that has helped you, and when you have felt like you've been down, you've been in the rut, you've been just in the gutter of anything? What's one piece of advice you can give?
What do you have? Oh, I'm thinking. That's a really deep question.
That is. Who knew we were going to get so deep? I'd say just get up every day, put one foot in front of the other, regardless. Like if you sit in where you're at, you're going to get nowhere. You have to make forward progress in whatever the situation is.
I think I have. And then I guess to add on to that, real estate wise, just because that's what we're here for, we purchased a very small condo in a ski town a few years back, to be able to short-term rent and to be able to go there because we loved, it's in Sun Valley, Idaho. We loved Ketchum. We loved going up there. And I would have never ever done that because I've grown up, I think, feeling like you had to be completely comfortable in your finances and to feel that you could take care of everything. I kind of grew up that way, wanting to make sure that everything was like safe and comfortable, and I had all this. And we ran into a friend up there that had purchased one. He's like, yeah, it's great. And so we took a leap, and it was taking that leap and buying this property up there that has made me like, now we bought multiple. Like it gets to the point where I think my biggest like real estate advice to someone is don't be afraid. Like you can always sell it. Like it's not like it's a life sentence if you buy something and that you don't love it. Like I just feel like I never would have, growing up the way I grew up and just where I grew up, it just was never like a thought process. And that's the best way to build wealth, is to get into the real estate game. So I think that would be my biggest piece of advice to anyone, real estate, not like, take a leap, take a risk on your first house, buy one that maybe isn't a dream home, buy one for an investment property, get in the market, because I mean, it has opened so many doors for us by being able to do that. So I think that would be my real estate advice. And then, yeah, I mean, I think you decide if you're happy and you're going to work hard or not. I think it just all is a mindset. And so I think just, get up and decide that you're going to get out there and get it done.
It's a conscious decision every day.
Make it.
And we make it every day myself.
So,
there are days I don't want to come work, for sure. But, I got a mortgage. I got to pay.
Yeah.
Well, cheers, ladies. Thank you. Really appreciate you guys jumping on here this morning, and really, really glad we've met a couple years ago now.
So glad.
Meeting in our next, well, I don't really want to say shenanigans, but sometimes it can turn into...
They are.
Cheers. Thanks again.
Call a spade a spade.
Yes. Okay. All right.
Bye, Nick.
Bye.